Hiya, how are you? Hi, how are you? Okay, today is another mini masterclass, 15, 20 minutes max, and well, sometimes I go a little over, to explore a topic that is close to the heart of my clients, me, other entrepreneurs I see, but really getting to the heart of something that is going to help you right now. Sounds good? Okay. So if you don't know me, I am Ellie. I am a vibrancy coach for entrepreneurs, which means I help entrepreneurs, busy, time pressed, weight of the world on their shoulders, entrepreneurs who want to do it differently, who want to opt out of the hustle and the grind and the burnout and instead embrace a life and business of ease, energy, and enjoyment. The way that I do that my is through my Live Vibrantly method, which I've developed having worked across thousands of entrepreneurs across all the continents aside from Antarctica, having built multiple seven-figure businesses, etc. And a lot of what I learned, I don't want for myself, and I recognize a lot of my clients don't want to. So, developed it through that, and it's basically embracing the principles of the things that have the biggest levers to create the change that you desire in your life. One of the main ones, well, not one of the main ones, but one of the principles is this idea of embody and express. And it's a really fun principle. And I created this, I took on embody and express as a principle to master because so many of us do this deep internal work. We do the deep work for our businesses. We do all of this gorgeous like growth and development, but we don't always think about, well, what about when I go out into the world? And this is especially important for online entrepreneurs who have to do a lot of visibility. And this was a huge block for me as I came into the online digital space. And dogs they're enjoying it. I came into the online space and I was like, how on earth do I do this? How do I get visible? And I know that that is a pain point for so many people too, is really how do you show up as yourself? Now, I'm a lover of simple tools, and this kind of speaks to my background of running startups in really tough markets across multiple cultures, countries, etc. Hi, how are you? Um, I realized very quickly that simple was going to be best, accessible was going to be best, universal or as universal as we can make it was going to be best. So I'm always looking for tools and exercises and prompts that are super straightforward, so you don't have to waste brain calories on understanding the concept. You can get into it and understand the concept and the skill sets through that. So one of my favorite, most powerful tools is your style and clothes. And this is part because, newsflash, I love clothes. And also in part because the vast majority of us always wear, hi Stanko, um, always wear clothes. So it's something that we do every day. And there's huge power in making this a tool that we use to build awareness and also take action and live from our vibrancy from there. Sounds good? So embody and express is all about that. Now, I will say embody and express right now, I'm offering it as a service called energetic styling. It's going really well. It's very popular. We have 3 more spots available. And if you book it by the end of tonight, that's Thursday, September 30th. It's like, how many days is there in September? But if you book it by September 30th tonight, midnight PST, or you book a connection call with me before then that can take place next week. I just need the booking confirmation to come in. I will give you $333 off that experience, and it's amazing. So hit me up for that. DM me. It's so good. All right. So what I wanted to break down today is how to use your style for when you're in a rut. Okay. And often we're using energetic style as a way to enter into these big kind of life changes my clients are experiencing, the big launches they're about to do, the stuff that's happening in their life, like divorce or loss. People come to me for these big, big things. And also, let's remember that clothes can just be a tool for making things feel good right now, getting out of a rut right now. Like we can use things to like pull these big levers in our life and create this like wonderful, sustainable and systemic change. And also we can use it as a like, I want to feel better right now because we all need that sometimes. So if you're feeling in a rut, this is for you. If you're not feeling in a rut, save this for later because it's going to happen. So we are going, at least in the northern hemisphere, we are going into winter. And for someone like me who is in Seattle where it's raining outside right now, it can feel very intense. It's also COVID is still very relevant. And so things may start to shift up after a gorgeous summer where we were allowed to, do a lot of stuff, be outside. It's all very straightforward. Some of us now are having to make harder decisions about what we do and don't do. So it's this funny time. Mercury's also in retrograde. Go figure. And a lot of us are just feeling kind of exhausted. And so a lot of people are in ruts right now, and it's okay. I personally was in a bit of a rut on Monday. I was going through a massive constriction and I just needed a time to like be in my feelings and feel it. Like we cannot always be up. I actually don't think we should always be up and sparkling. Like we need these quieter times. And if they just continue on, that's a rut, and ruts are not as fun as possible. So the invitation is to use your style to get yourself out of a rut. And I've got kind of three major reasons why it's so powerful, plus things you can do right now in order to do it. Okay. So using your style as a rut, one of my favorite things to do is just to remember how fab I am. Like, even if I'm in a rut, I'm wearing my comfy clothes. Like today, I have endometriosis. I need to, hi Israel, I need to wear like comfy clothes some days, like today. So it's easy when you're wearing your big comfy clothes to kind of lose yourself a little bit. And I'm not demonizing big comfy clothes. I love big comfy clothes. I think they're fabulous. But if that's not your go-to style, it can feel kind of discordant. Like it feels like you're kind of not you. And so always reminding yourself how fab you are can just be a great way to pick yourself out of the rut. And I know it sounds super basic, but sometimes simple is best here. We tend to think we need to do these big, complicated things. We need to do a big ritual. We need to do these like epic self-care things, etc., etc., etc. And that can often just be our brain kind of making excuses as to why we shouldn't do it. So use your style to remind yourself how fab you are. I literally put on faux fur when I need it, or I put on a headband when I need it, or I put a little bit of lippy on when I need it. A lot of my clients have been playing around with literally just like getting dressed with a little bit like a 5-minute ritual of like putting a nice smell on, putting a sexy song on, and just reminding and tapping back into feeling how fab you are. So play with that. If you're in a rut, like great, wear your yoga pants, more power to you. Wear your tracksuit. I can't remember what you call them in America. Your joggy. I call them your doggy bottoms or your tracksuit pants. There you go. Um, but like, make yourself feel a little more fab. Yeah. Put on something that makes you reconnect to that little bit of fabulous, that little bit of a spark. So, number one. Number two is have some fun. Like, honestly, like, have some fun with it. Like, when we're in a rut, we tend to make everything mean so much. We tend to like the down feels really down and like, oh my gosh, are we getting depressed? Or oh my gosh, is our business like messing up? Or oh my gosh, what's happening? And I like clothes because they're such a good reminder that nothing is permanent. including your bad mood. Like you can go change your clothes like 4 or 5 times. I'm not saying do that, but you can, just to remind yourself that this is not permanent. You can also just like add some fun and some enjoyment in to make you feel more sensorily connected to yourself. So this for my clients often looks like put on like a really soft textile. Put on your favorite color. Put on, for me, that's animal print. Put on something that is fun, that lifts your spirits, like that makes you feel a little more joyful. And again, like number one, it sounds so small, but these things actually make a huge difference. Like put on something that gives you that reminds you of a good time. Like a lot of my clothes is vintage or secondhand. And so most things have a story to them. Yeah, I used to remember everything I've ever bought. And I remember how I was feeling when I bought it, like if I was having fun or whatever. But use it just to simply light up and remind yourself that you can, that you have the capacity to change things as much as you have the capacity to change your clothes. And the final thing is lean back into trusting yourself. So ruts often cause us to second guess everything. Am I doing this right? How am I messing this up? Like we can get into negative spirals really, really quickly with ruts. And what can happen there is all this hard work that we've done to feel good about ourselves and to like make things happen, etc., can start to fade away, and those negative thoughts can pop back up. They're like the doubty voices, the chattery voices, etc. They can start to re-emerge, and that often makes the whole situation a little more intense. So you can always remind yourself with your clothes that you can trust your intuition, that you are a good person, that you do know what you're doing. And this looks like maybe repeating a favorite outfit. And again, I know this sounds silly, but like this stuff works time and time again. What I mean by this is when that self doubt pops in, self trust tends to go. And so a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, I have these pretty pieces in my wardrobe, but I don't know how to put them together. And so we work on building that confidence that you can trust yourself to put an outfit together, even and like that you get to do it your way, that you have your own style. Like what can happen a lot when we're in a rut is we look externally for solutions to the problem. The problem is there's no problem. Sometimes you're just like in a low energy mood and it runs for a couple of days. But the point is, we always want to remind ourselves that we do know what we're doing. Like instead of looking externally for like, well, this isn't working, I need a new like strategy hack, or I need a new tactic, or I need a new um, guru to explain to me how to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of doing that, which ultimately is never actually going to make you feel better, it may make you feel better for a hot minute, but it's not getting to the underlying component of why you're in a rut. So lean into self trust and use your clothes as a metaphor for this. Like you literally know how to get dressed. You know how to get dressed for yourself. You do. You do. You do it every day. And instead of being like, oh, I wish I had that person's style, like really embed in your own style and make it applicable to you. And that's the really cool thing. And that's like a big part of what we do in energetic styling. Like we have 3 one-to-one sessions over the course of 2 weeks. And then you have a month-long Voxer support so that we can stay in touch and like work through anything that comes up between sessions and post sessions, etc. A lot of this is like building that self-trust and building the capacity to know that you can do it. And then what we do is we build that pattern of self-trust, and you know what you're doing. You don't need to like have somebody else tell you how to dress, we then like extrapolate out and make that into a pattern for how you live life and how you run business. So it's super doable. That's what we do in energetic styling, but you can just play with it right now. Just remind yourself, I know how to get myself dressed. And yeah, of course, it sounds so simple, but also I'm going to say this again and again and again. Simple is your best friend. When you're in a rut, you're already spending emotional energy and mindset calories on just keeping yourself going. So there's not always a lot of spare capacity to do something complicated. There's also often not a lot of motivation to do something complicated. So do the simple things. It really works. And I say this as someone who resists simple like a house on fire. I don't want to be in a house on fire. I always resist simple. I always think complicated is going to be better. And time again, it is not, especially in these moments. Okay, that was it. How to get yourself out of a star rut. 1, remind yourself how fab you are. Go a little outlandish, go a little extra. That to me is my fabulousness or my vibrancy. But that to you may be more like cashmere sweaters or big fuzzy socks or whatever it is. But remind yourself how fab you are. Feel good. Second thing is have some fun. Wear something that reminds you of happy times, that allows you to embody that part of you and just kind of kickstart maybe a bit of a healing process. Wear your favorite color, wear your favorite textile, wear something that makes you feel good. Okay. You can kind of get back into that sensation. My favorite way of doing that actually is to, I do a lot of somatic work with my clients, but I like imagine my happiness, I like feel it in my body, and then I choose something from there. If that is like, what are you talking about? DM me, I will tell you more. But that's a really cool way. And then 3 is remind yourself it's good to be you and don't look for external stuff. And I know that sounds counter for style because we're so used to thinking that clothes are an external validation piece or performative piece, but actually clothes are so often about stripping back to the basics of you and celebrating that. Okay. I have loved this. Thank you so much. Remember that energetic signing is available for $333 off if you book it by the end of tonight, midnight PT, Thursday, September 30th. DM me for the code if you want to book. And also if you book a connection call for whenever next week, but if the booking confirmation comes through before midnight tonight, you will also get that code off. So I love to give back and I cannot wait to support 3 more of you with energetic styling. Okay. Chelsea's. Bye, bye, bye.